What's going on YouTube? So in a world filled with SUVs, and typically expensive ones at that, it's so refreshing when brands like Volkswagen invest money in affordable options such as this refresh 2025 Taos. This refresh is promising loads of standard features for even the base $25,000 model. So is Volkswagen giving us a mini Audi experience for that price tag? Let's go ahead and find out. So what better place to start off this review than talking about the exterior design? Now, of course, as you would expect out of a refresh, they have changed some of the exterior elements, but it's not just the outside. They've changed some stuff on the inside as well as in the powertrain section, and we'll get to that a little bit later, but let's start with the outside first. So up here in the front, you're going to have that signature Volkswagen design theme. It's going to be more in line with some of their newer offerings, such as the new Tiguan that's coming out, and you're going to notice a very premium look. That's one of my favorite things about this Taos, is that it does have that mini Audi design language. So down here at the bottom, we have a gloss black grille, some chrome accenting since we have the fully loaded example. And then as we head up, this is where you're going to notice a lot of differences for 2025. And your main thing is in your lighting. So I'll talk about the headlights first. One of the big updates is that you're going to get standard projector LEDs on every version of the Taos. So even that base $25,000 model will have projector LEDs, which of course are going to have a lot brighter of a lighting element than most of the options in the segment. And if you choose an SE or above, they're also going to be adaptive. You have your LED turn signal indicator up here, and then new this year, you're also going to add the ability of this full-length light bar on the SE Black and above. Now, I do want to point out your trim levels will remain the same for this refreshed model. So you start out with the S model, SE, then SE Black, which was added last year, and then you end at this fully loaded SEL. Now, what you're noticing here is a fully blacked out wheel design. And that's because here on this SEL, we also have the black package, which gives us this 19-inch alloy. I think it looks really fantastic, especially when you pair it with this new green paint color. You get a standard contrast alloy on the standard SEL. Now, as we head up to the mirrors, you're actually going to find quite a bit of features. So standard blind spot monitoring on every single version, and as long as you choose anything besides the very base model, it will also have heating standard. Now, at the side of the Taos, you will notice that it actually has a pretty substantial SUV presence, and that's because it's a lot larger than a lot of the options in this subcompact segment. It's about 176 inches in length, which does mean it's quite a bit less than the Tiguan, but it is quite large for the segment. It also is going to have features like these roof rails up top to give you that nice, substantial look. And speaking of the roof, you can actually get a black roof option with that SE Black model, and I think that looks really good, especially when you pair it with one of the several new paint colors this year. Now, as we head around to the rear design, Volkswagen has definitely done a lot back here as well to give you that mini Audi design language. So let's go ahead and break that down. We have a spoiler up top and exposed rear wiper, but the thing that's really nice and new this year is this full-length taillight unit. So as you can see, it is a full-length LED taillight, so that includes the brake light, the turn signal, and the reverse light. Every element LED, standard on all models, and you're also going to have the illuminated Volkswagen logo so you can see it at nighttime. Now, as we drop down, you have your Taos branding, some trim level information as well, and then in the lower fascia, this is going to be finished in a rugged matte black. They do kind of outline some faux exhaust outlets. Those are not actually the real exhaust outlets, though, and Volkswagen does not rate the Taos to tow. Now, when it comes to your safety systems, you'll be very happy to know that Volkswagen is including every single one of those as standard equipment, even on the base Taos model. So I'm definitely happy to tell you that, especially at that more affordable price point. But like I said, Volkswagen has added some things to the inside as well as the powertrain. So let's go ahead and dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars. So before we get inside, let's check out our key fob. This is your typical Volkswagen key fob. This remains the same this year. You'll notice here on the back, we do have remote start, and the smart entry system with remote start is standard on all but the very base Taos model. Now walking up to the vehicle, there is not a sensor behind the door handle, so you just push this black button and that will go ahead and unlock the vehicle. Now, I'll give Josh a second to move inside so you can check out this interior, but you'll notice that we have quite a lot of premium elements going on. But before we dive into the technology and all of that, let's talk about our seating, colors, and material choices. So, standard on the S model, you're going to get a fully cloth seat. SE will upgrade you to a cloth and leatherette combo, and then if you spring for this top-end SEL, that's actually going to get you a real leather seat. And as you can see, this is a really premium design. Honestly, it looks better than some of the Audi products that we've reviewed recently with the multi-color finish. Now, this one is the black and gray combination, and new this year, there is a navy combination as well. So a nice dark blue. We had the chance to check that out, and it looked really fantastic. Now, as far as the seat itself, it is going to be an 8-way power adjusting seat, and that's going to be standard on SE models and above. You have your 2-way lumbar support. There's not any memory seats, so keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and dive inside. Reaching over and shutting the door, I do want to point out, we've been talking about kind of like a mini Audi experience. One of the things I like about Volkswagen products is the door shuts really nice and solid in that typical German fashion. But let's go ahead and talk about material quality for this refreshed Taos. So you'll notice over here on the door trim, we have a leatherette going through this part, as well as this entire center section. You have a lot of really nice stitching details going through there, and this upper part is going to be made of a padded plastic. Now, moving to the upper dashboard, this is all going to be finished in a hard touch plastic. Of course, this is a pretty affordable vehicle, so keep that in mind. And this whole center section is finished in a piano black as well as some silver accenting. We have a little bit of leatherette going through the center section, and then all of your center piecings will be a hard touch plastic. Right here, you'll find your standard push button start on all Taos models. But many buyers are now looking for some really good technology, and I'm happy to tell you that when it comes to your gauge cluster, you're going to find really nice stuff going on with this Taos. So what you're looking at now is the upgraded 10.25-inch display. That comes on actually all but the very base model, and as you can see, we have a lot of customizability. You can have your maps right there, front and center, can actually expand to pretty much take up the entire thing. So talk about things that look like an Audi. This looks very similar to Audi's virtual cockpit system. Is just going to be a little bit smaller. Now on the base model, you will get an 8-inch display instead. No head-up display is offered, and then coming back to our steering wheel, one of the nice new features for 2025 is that you're going to get a leather-wrapped steering wheel that's also heated as standard equipment on every single Taos model. That's certainly very nice to see at that more affordable price point. Additionally, back here you'll see standard rain-sensing wipers also on every single Taos. The steering wheel itself is manual tilt and telescoping, as you would expect. Now, let's talk about interior space, because you also want to have a lot of room for all of your belongings. Inside of here, you'll find a pretty decent amount of space. It goes down quite good and also kind of bends in a little bit. Unfortunately, we are here in Texas today, so I don't have time to get my donuts out, and we can't travel with all of the full set, but we look forward to giving you that donut volume test when we get one back home in Kentucky. Now in front of that, we have 2 cup holders, and then this area, you'll notice a wireless phone charging pad as well as some extra storage. The wireless phone charging pad is also standard on all but that base model. Now coming back to the shifter, Volkswagen has maintained a fully traditional shifter, so I'm happy to tell you that. A lot of the competition is moving to an electronic style, so just pull back for a drive over to the right will allow you to shift manually. Then once we go into reverse, you'll find a standard backup camera. Now, there's a couple things to talk about here. So first of all, a 360 camera is not offered at all on the Taos. So I'm a little disappointed by that, and also the resolution is a little grainy, so keep that in mind. However, we are going to have active trajectory, and you're also going to have front and rear parking sensors on all but that base model as well. So some nice features, even though we don't have the 360 ability. Now, if we put it in park, you just go all the way up. You do have an electronic parking brake, however, you do not have brake hold. Now back here, you'll notice that we have our drive mode controller, and then moving up the dashboard, we'll find our climate controls. So as long as you choose anything besides that base trim level, you're going to actually get a dual zone automatic temperature adjustment. Now, I do want to point out, even though it is physically right here, it's like a swipe system, although I will say it's relatively easy to use, so I'm not too disappointed by that, but do keep in mind it's going to be a little bit harder than just using a physical knob. Additionally, as we head up from that, you'll find heated seats. That's actually standard on every Taos besides for the base model with front-wheel drive. So if you choose all-wheel drive, you actually get it standard on the base model. Off to the left of that, you'll find ventilated seats, and that's standard on this top-end SEL, which is particularly noteworthy because a lot in this segment don't offer that at all. Now, as we move up, you'll find a physical volume knob, and that's to control two different audio systems. So you have a standard 4-speaker audio system. We have the 6-speaker system that comes on the upper-end models. Do be aware, though, that the Beats audio system that was previously offered on the Taos has actually been removed for 2025, so it's just those two standard sound systems. Let's go ahead and give it a sample. So overall, audio quality is going to be, decent. It's not bad at all. I would expect that on a mid-trim level, although I am a little disappointed that they got rid of the upper-end sound system because it does sound a little bit better. We actually had a 2024 model on loan not too long ago, and I think the Beats sound system was a significant upgrade over the 6-speaker setup. But let's zero in here on the main infotainment screen. So new for 2025 is that we're going to have this 8-inch screen as standard equipment on every single model. Now, overall software and performance is going to run pretty smoothly. As you can see, this is just your typical Volkswagen system. If you choose a top-end model like what we have today, you have built-in navigation, and every version will have wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto ability. I will say, compared to some of the rivals, though, this 8-inch screen being on the very top-end model as the biggest screen size is a little bit smaller than some of the competition at this point. Now, as we head up to the mirror, we're going to have an auto-dimming mirror, and you'll notice a very premium feature when I pull back here. You're going to find a panoramic moonroof here on this fully loaded example. It's also standard on the SE Black trim level, and this is a really, really large moonroof. Once I get that shade fully opened up, you'll notice that it's pretty much copy and paste from some of the larger Audi products. So it really fills up the entire roof, and the front panel does open a significant margin. But now let's see how much space you're going to have in the rear seats for the Taos. Now, that was one of my favorite elements about this car before, and of course that doesn't change with the refresh because we're still going to have tons of space. Now, according to Volkswagen, we're going to be sitting at about 38 inches of legroom and 40 inches of headroom. Guys, that is an incredible headroom figure, and I can confirm that here in person. It is just so open and airy. Really, for this segment, you have a lot of small options, and this does not feel small at all. Now, as far as the seating adjustment, this is to my own 5'9" driving position. I don't have my ruler with me, but I did bring the tape measure, and I'm sitting at 10 inches of extra knee room. Like I said, I'm 5'9", so I think that's really impressive. My feet can also easily slide up underneath of the seats, but do be aware the seats themselves do not recline. Now, as far as features are concerned, we have vents. Those are going to be standard on all but the base model. Down below that, we have another little storage cubby and a USB-C port to keep things charged up. There is a big tunnel here in the middle, though, so keep that in mind for your middle passengers. Now, if you turn over to the door trim, you will notice it is going to be cheaper than the front. So this top part is going to be hard touch, as well as the center section. Of course, they have to save some money somewhere. And then down here at the bottom, we do have a padded armrest. One of the things I really love about the Taos is that you have a ton of bottle storage in both the front and the rear doors, so it just easily swallows up a water bottle. Don't have my Stanley with me, but I think it would easily fit back here. Now, walking up to the tailgate, one of the things about this vehicle is that you do not have a power tailgate offered on any of the trim levels, so keep that in mind. But I'm very happy to tell you about the space here in this Taos because there is a lot of it. You're going to be sitting around 25 cubic feet behind the second row of seats. If we fold those seats down, it expands up to 60 cubic feet. Those are very, very good space figures for this subcompact segment. Of course, you'd expect that out of a vehicle dimensionally as big as this. And that's for the all-wheel drive model. Now, the front-wheel drive model, if you choose that, you're actually going to get even more space just due to the packaging, a maximum of 66 cubic feet with the front-wheel drive version. Now, the seats do fold 60-40 split, and you have a trunk pass-through through here, so you could actually have, you know, two people sitting in the back, as well as have a long object go through the center. When we fold those seats down, I do want to point out it's not going to be completely flat with the floor, but it's mostly flat. And let's get our cargo length, width, and height figures. This is a Car Confections review after all. And from my own 5'9" driving position to the rear of the cargo area, about 69 inches of cargo length. From the second row to the rear, 32 inches. As far as overall cargo width, 40 inches wide, and height comes in very impressive, 32 inches tall. Now, do keep in mind the seats, you know, are a little bit raised from that. We have a spare tire underneath as well. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the refreshed Volkswagen Taos. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, they have actually made some changes to the powertrain. So we're about to dive into that, and we're going to start with a hard acceleration, but we'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading. And if you don't know already, Josh is here with me at this Volkswagen Taos Drive in San Antonio. He's helping out here, and if you don't know him already, give him a warm welcome in the comments down below. But let's go ahead and get started. Alright, and there was a 60-mile-an-hour acceleration here in the refreshed Volkswagen Taos. Now, like I said, there are some changes to what's under the hood. Now, it's not an entirely new engine or anything like that, so you're still going to have the 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder. However, we are making a little bit more horsepower this year, up 16 horsepower to 174 horsepower, standard equipment, and 184 pound-feet of torque. And as you can see, based on that acceleration, it's actually plenty of power for this segment. Really, in this segment, you range from extremely slow to decently fast, and I think this kind of falls in that decently fast category.
Yeah, I think among its non-hybrid competitors, this is definitely one of the zippiest of them all, and as you can see from this acceleration here, this is a very refined 4-cylinder. Volkswagen and Audi, they know how to make a very good 4-cylinder, and this, even on this Taos, is a very good example of that.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why this vehicle does feel more premium than some of the other options. You know, talk about a Corolla Cross or a Honda HR-V. When you put your foot down, it's screaming for dear life and very loud. A lot of noise is making it into the cabin. This is a very refined powertrain. I definitely like that. Now, the one thing worth noting as compared to some of the rivals is that this is the only engine option. So every Taos will come with this, and there is not a hybrid choice. So I'm a little disappointed by that. I wish Volkswagen had added a hybrid offering to get you the better fuel economy. But overall, I'm decently happy with this powertrain. Like I said, it's very refined.
Now that acceleration shows off the other powertrain change for this 25 Taos, and it's specific to the all-wheel drive model. For 2025, the old 7-speed DSG is now replaced with this traditional 8-speed automatic transmission. It's now the same transmission as the front-wheel drive model, and from our week that we spent with the Taos back in the summer, we can say this is a massive improvement.
Yeah.
The DSG, which is a dual-clutch transmission, displayed a lot of the jerkiness that you can get from one of those sometimes, and this 8-speed is really smooth, refined, but it still gets you the power when you need it.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with the switch. Like Josh said, we spent an entire week with that dual clutch model, and honestly, it was a huge downgrade over this smooth and refined 8-speed automatic. Yes, it did give you some snappier shifts when you're driving sporty, but really people in this segment are not driving aggressively for the most part, so they want the smooth refinement that you get with this 8-speed automatic. So I'm really happy to see that switch, and also it just adds a little bit less complication to the powertrain components. Now, of course, as you heard, you have standard front-wheel drive on every trim level besides for this SEL. The SEL will be all-wheel drive exclusive.
Now, another improvement for this all-wheel drive model with the new 8-speed automatic is the fact that it also increases the fuel economy. So for this all-wheel drive model, you'll be sitting at 28 mpg combined, and the front-wheel drive model, will stay at 31 combined for this year.
But now that we're just kind of turning out on a highway, I want to take a second to discuss ride quality. Now, this is one area that we were very happy with the Taos over the past summer months that we drove it at home, and all the past years that we reviewed it. And I have to say, here at the media drive for the refresh one, I'm also very happy because this thing is one of the best riding subcompacts that you can get. It really does a fantastic job of soaking up the bumps when you hit them in the road. The ride quality is just absolutely superb. I also really appreciate these seats, so nothing to complain about on that front. The only thing I will say is that this Taos is very comfort focused. So when it comes to driving dynamics, we're out here kind of on a little bit of a country road, and you're going to have quite a bit of body roll. The steering is pretty numb, and there's not a lot of feedback coming in here. So if driving dynamics are a main priority for you, you probably won't like that too much here in the Taos, but like I was saying, I think most people in this segment are just going from point A to point B. They're not really looking for a great driving vehicle. If you are, get the Mazda CX-30, but overall driving dynamics are not going to be too impressive.
And I do want to point out that the all-wheel drive models have a multi-beam or a multi-link suspension, whereas the front-wheel drive is a torsion beam. Now, this straight Texas road is a perfect place for us to get our sound level readings. So we are going 55 miles an hour. We're on fan speed 1, and let's go ahead and grab that. .6 decibels is where we'll be sitting for this refreshed Taos. And in this very big segment, I can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings to compare it to all of its competitors. Now, as you've heard multiple times, we are in Texas, so these are not our official readings. We're hopefully going to get one of these back at home in Kentucky very soon to give you the official reading, but that will place it at the top of the segment on the louder end as compared to the rest of its competitors.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Texas roads are typically loud. We see that on all the media drives. So just stay tuned for the sound level reading coming soon. All right, let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, which is our favorite element about the refreshed Taos and our least favorite element. I'll kick us off with the favorite element. Now, for this refresh, I think Volkswagen just did a fantastic job of giving you a lot of standard features, even at that lower end price point. Things like projector LED headlights being standard equipment on all models really stands out in this segment. Heated steering wheel, rain sensing wipers. I could go on and on, but they are giving you a lot of really nice features. Plus, it's very spacious, and that's going to be on every single model.
Now, on the opposite end of that, for this SEL model specifically, you're going to lose a few of the value-oriented things like this 8-inch, now small for the segment screen. You lose your top Beats audio system, and you have only 6 speakers. So you're going to lose a little bit of your value when you do have a price increase for this SEL this year. So we wish you could get a little bit more value on this top end this year.
Yeah, it has a lot of nice features like the ventilated seats, but it is peculiar that they're not adding maybe a bigger screen this year, or that they just removed the Beats audio system. It's probably something to do with licensing, if I had to guess, but it's a little interesting. And like Josh said, the price did actually rise this year, and you're getting a little bit less equipment than that 24 model that we tested out earlier.
Now, for your warranty, you will have Volkswagen Signature Warranty, 4 years, 50,000 miles for both your basic and powertrain warranties, and you'll have 2 years and 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance.
Now let's talk about the pricing for this Taos. That's one of the best things about this vehicle, is that it does start under $25,000 for that S model with front-wheel drive. Now, as you move up the trim structure, the SE is $27,895. The black edition is $30,145, and this SEL is $34,695. Now, if you want one with all the options like this, so we have the SEL all-wheel drive plus a couple options, we're looking at $36,970 as tested today after the 1425 destination. Of course, on the high end, you have a lot of features that some of the rivals aren't including, but I actually think the SE trim level is a fantastic value for most people. I think it's going to be plenty of features for the money. Now, if you're looking to buy a Volkswagen Taos or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a car is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. So first up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Josh and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Volkswagen Taos potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth around 51.8% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 14.7%. Now, it's worth noting that it is going to be less than some of the rivals like Honda and Toyota, although it is very much an industry average for all vehicle makes.
Now, we've also done the same thing for reliability by creating the Combined Reliability Index, which takes into account a variety of data from trusted automotive resources. According to this info, Volkswagen is one of the lowest rated brands and compared to all other vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale values, as well as our reliability data and our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth review of this refreshed 2025 Volkswagen Taos. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews such as this, and you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel. I promise you won't want to miss out. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.